Good afternoon, welcome to Thriving Talks with Anthony. Today we're going to have an insightful conversation. For those that are new to the channel, we make mental health conversations and content that's going to be beneficial to your personal development in addition to your well-being, right? But in today's conversation, we're going to be talking about the power of saying no, setting boundaries and protecting your energy. I want to be able to really emphasize learning to say no is one of the most powerful ways to protect your mental health. And in this segment, we're going to be able to discuss healthy, boundaries in addition to how that's going to be able to help you manage your time, your energy, and in addition to your focus. In this video, we're going to be kind of talking about your personal life in addition to our professional life. I put the professional life into this because I find that we spend more time outside, at work, trying to accumulate money to take care of our needs, and being able to set boundaries, to being able to, be in a conducive environment, we're able to perform, we're able to, feel comfortable, is essential. So let's move forward so we're able to dive into the importance of setting boundaries, right? So number one segment, the importance of setting boundaries. Key components I want to be able to discuss with you is going to be, number one, starting off with protecting your time and your energy. So saying no allows you to prioritize your, what makes your priorities, right? So what matters to you most, right? Putting your needs first, by setting those boundaries in your time, you can be able to allocate, get things done that's beneficial for you. The next is going to be mental health benefits. So establishing, your boundaries and these limits reduces stress and prevents burnout, right? So by having clear boundaries, having the expectations that you know what you're supposed to be doing, and, this ensures, these mental health benefits for you. Next is going to be professional respect. So setting clear boundaries builds respect in both your professional in addition to your personal relationships, right? We have to take in consideration that we have to allow ourselves to, teach people how to treat us, right? We're all different. We come from different cultural backgrounds, different families, etc. And by allowing us to set these respectful boundaries allows other people to be able to, treat us how these relationships be in productive alignment, right? But I want to be able to give us some research insights according from a 2022 study by the American Institute of Stress. 64% of employees who practice saying no report lower stress levels and better work-life balance, right? So for us to be able to have better work-life balance, being able to have our needs met at, work in addition to our personal life, we got to be able to take in consideration of saying no, to protect our mental health, in addition to for us to be able to have, reduced stress. Next segment I want to dive into is navigating personal and professional relationships with boundaries. Like I said, we're going to be in different environments, different settings, and we definitely need to be able to take in consideration on how we're going to be able to set boundaries, because it is essential for ourselves, our time, our energy, in addition to our, our wellness and our mind, right? So building healthy relationships doesn't just rely on collaboration, it also requires healthy boundaries. So we're going to talk about, like I said, having that defined balance, and, when we're having that support in addition to respectful personal limits, things will be much better. So key points I want to be able to dive into is mutual respect. Boundaries ensure that both parties, understand each other when it comes to limits and their needs. Like I said, when we're proactively having these conversations, teaching people how to treat us with mutual respect, it's going to allow us to, build better connection, but at the same time too, allowing us to have better understanding of our needs and vice versa, right? Next is going to be clear expectations, right? So when we're breaking things down to people and we're setting these boundaries, we want to make sure that we're setting limits that help avoid misunderstandings in both personal in addition to our professional environments, right? So give clear communication, set the expectations. The same way we have the expectations to be at work on time, there's certain criteria that, we need to have to be able to function right, and just proper etiquette and like how it's going to be able to benefit us in these environments. We got to be able to communicate that clearly to whatever individual you're talking to, all right? Next is going to be healthy communication. Healthy communication is respectful communication. So learning to express your needs and saying no constructively fosters respect in these relationships. So I want to be able to emphasize that, right? Because we don't want to be having arguments. We don't want to be able to, get toxic. So we have to have a proper approach, right? So making sure that we're having, respect when we're communicating is going to allow us to have that healthy communication. When it comes to some research insights from a 2021 study from the Journal of Applied Psychology, found that employees who practice boundary setting had 30% fewer conflicts with colleagues and supervisors, right? So when we're clearly being respectful, when we are, setting these boundaries in a healthy way with mutual respect, we're going to have better communication in addition to better understanding, because we're breaking things down, we're allowing the other person to hear us out, active listening obviously, of course, but overall when it comes to that statistic, we were able to figure out that there is a reduced factor of these conflicts happening in the workplace. So I want us to take in consideration by setting boundaries respectfully. Moving on to the next segment, I want to be able to talk about managing workplace boundaries without guilt. You know what I mean? Because I find that sometimes when it comes to setting boundaries, it may make us feel some type of way. A word to get to the point is uncomfortable, but sometimes we may need to feel uncomfortable to then become comfortable, right? And setting boundaries could be uncomfortable, but we need to do this to be able to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves, our needs, right? And we feel adequate in these positions, right? So setting boundaries at work can feel uncomfortable, but it's essential to prevent, overcommitting and maintaining your well-being. Like I said, we got to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves. No one knows what you're going through unless you're advocating for yourself, you're speaking up. And, like I said, when it comes to boundaries, this is what we have to do, right? So moving towards the key points, avoid overextension, which is saying no prevents you from taking on too many responsibilities. Like I said, when you're being the yes man, in other terms, you're taking something away from yourself because you're accommodating other people, but you're not making sure that you're taking care of your health, your energy, your time, and allocating your priorities and your needs, right? So making sure that you're not overextending your hand, making sure that you have a certain balance and you have discernment to really navigate through that, right? And maintaining your well-being. The next key point is going to be clear communication. I always emphasize this because, people can't read our thoughts. People don't know what's going on inside your mind. So you need to proactively be able to be honest about your workload and your limitations without feeling the need to apologize, because this is what you're feeling, this is what you got going on, and this is really what's going on, right? Also, just staying on topic when it comes to the clear communication is, on a side note, when it comes to like education, I had an IEP, right, which is the individual education plan. Every person has their own accommodations that's going to be able to help them perform better, get the work done, and get the desired outcomes that they're looking for, right? But in this circumstance, in regards to our discussion in regards to boundaries, is by clear communication, expressing your needs, you're allowing the other person to understand and accommodate you to help you out, to make sure that you feel competent in the role that you are in, right? So, just making sure that you feel, that you can have those conversations within clear communication, things could be much better. Next key point is going to be balanced delegation, right? So we're delegating our time. So learn to delegate your time effectively, offering help without overloading yourself, right? Like I said, making sure that things are balanced, making sure that, we're prioritizing our needs. Things are not going to be overloading us then deriving us to have stress, which we don't need. So just knowing yourself, knowing what you're comfortable with, and standing on your 10 and, advocating for your boundaries, right, in a respectful way. When it comes to research insights, a report from the National Institute of Occupational Safety and Health from a 2022 study shows that employees who say no to excessive demands have 25% lower risk of burnout. Like I said, 25% less risk of burnout. This is major because burnout, I don't know if you felt that before, but that stress is real. You tore it from the flow up, and it takes you time to really get yourself back. And for us to be able to prevent that being torn from the flow up, we got to make sure that we're advocating for ourselves, making sure that we're standing on our 10 and, in a respectful way, expressing our needs. And, our jobs and, our personal lives, we're going to get those accommodations met, right? So, moving on to the next segment, I want to be able to dive into the role of saying no in mental health maintenance, right? Maintenance is real. We got to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves, and protecting your energy is key to maintaining your mental health. So saying no allows us to, crave out of space for our self-care in addition to our personal time, right? So key points I'm gonna just dive into is mental health first, right? So mental health is a priority for ourselves, so we're able to have that positive mental health, well-being, which requires us to say no when it is necessary. Like I said, when it is necessary. It's good to be good, it's good to provide, it's good to always, produce, positivity. I'm never going to sit there and tell you not to do that, but we also have to have that certain balance and discernment of knowing when enough is enough, knowing what I can take, and knowing what what I can't take, and, putting ourselves first, putting our mental health first is essential. Next key point is going to be self-respect. So setting boundaries reinforces self-worth and helps preserve emotional energy. Like I said, when you're pouring out into different cups, aka different people, you're gonna realize when you look at yourself, you're done. You know what I mean? Make sure, no sponsorship, but you see this water bottle right here? You wanna make sure that your water bottle is full to the top, you know what I mean? So you're able to, get yourself back to, full optimum, potential, you're hydrated and stuff like that, and you're able to, provide that phenomenal service to other people. Like I said, I'm not trying to make you guys selfish or anything like that, but we have to have a certain mind for ourselves to be able to provide for other people. That's all I'm saying. So self-respect. Next is going to be long-term success, right? So constant boundary setting enables sustained productivity and happiness. We have to, like I said, teach people how to treat us. So as we're moving throughout different environments, through different settings and interacting with different people, for long-term success, navigating, allowing other people to, know what our do's and our don'ts, what our boundaries are, allows us to really just exuberate ourselves, and having these boundaries allows us to have that happiness as well, right? So when it comes to some research insights, according to the American Psychological Association, from a significant year of 2020, COVID year, you already know what's up, individuals who set personal boundaries report a 40% improvement in mental health outcomes over those who don't. Like I said, people that put themselves first, people that self-respect themselves, and people that really just navigate throughout their life, realizing the impact of setting boundaries, putting themselves first, have tremendous, improvement when it comes to the mental health. And I really want you guys to take into this consideration so you guys are able to get where you need to be, feel adequate, feel good, and really just, hone in, your mental health capacity and your energy, right? So next segment we're going to dive into is going to be, building healthy work relationships through boundaries, right? This is very essential. Like I said, we spend a lot of time outside getting this money, interacting with people, you know what I mean? And knowing how to have healthy work relationships is essential because we don't need to be having problems, conflicts, even though they do arise, we got to know how to navigate with them, but just having the healthy, aspect is really important. So while boundaries are essential for personal well-being, they also can help us, when it comes to respect and, having a supportive relationship at work. So by diving into, fostering healthy boundaries-driven relationships, it's going to help us with better communication in that workspace. So let's start off with respectful interaction. So boundaries promote trust and clear communication between colleagues and supervisors. Next is going to be team cohesion. So establishing limits help teams work effectively without stepping on each other's toes, right? And then next is going to be work-life balance. So encouraging employees to set personal boundaries ensures a healthier, more productive work environment, right? So overall, when we're being respectful in these interactions, we're going in with a positive mindset, we're seeking, positivity, we're not seeking negativity, we're being optimistic, but we're also in these workspaces, we're setting boundaries, and we're ensuring our health, we're ensuring to be able to produce better in these workspaces when we have this mindset going into these workspaces. When it comes to research insights from a 2023 study from the Society for Human Resource Management, SHRM, found that workspaces with clear boundaries in place report 22% higher employee engagement and satisfaction. So like I said, when we're in these environments with a cultural competence, like I said, we may have our disagreements or misunderstandings, etc. But like I said, when we're just setting boundaries, this will allow us to have better engagement and satisfaction in the workspace overall, right? Next segment I want to dive into is going to be something that's going to be beneficial to you guys, which is practical steps for setting boundaries in the workplace. So if you made it to this point, we're going to be able to dive into some practical ways to implement boundaries effectively when it comes to our daily routine, right? Let's dive right into it, right? So number one is going to be clear and direct, right? This is major because you want to be able to communicate your boundaries assertively, but with kindness, right? Like I said, for people to be able to be receptive, listen to you actively, and adjust accordingly, you got to be able to take in consideration of respect, right? Respect is something that you got to give to receive, right? So by being clear, being direct, and just communicating your needs allows you to, allow someone to be able to comprehend the boundaries and, move assertively without feeling attacked or, feeling harsh emotions when you're being respectful. Next is going to be scheduling time for yourself. Block out personal time on your calendar and stick to it. This is your mental health regimen. You want to be able to make sure you're taking care of yourself, and this is going to be something that's going to benefit you when you're setting boundaries, because so like I said, there's a lot of things that are going on in your personal life in addition to your professional life. By setting time for yourself allows you to have those reflective moments to make sure that you're taking care of your mental health well-being. Next is going to be know when to say no. So you want to be mindful of your limits and recognize when additional tasks are just being too much. You know what I mean? When someone's just putting too much on your load, you should be able to know, what you can take, what you can't take, and making sure that you're advocating for yourself is essential. When it comes to research, time management experts, have really highlighted that individuals who, consciously set work and personal boundaries are 40% more productive and less stressed. Like I said, 40% more productive and less stressed by setting those boundaries. Like I said, it's good to be good, produce positivity, you're giving value, you're helping people out there, but making sure that you're, setting and you're allocating time for yourself, you're taking care of yourself is really going to help you, navigate through any circumstances in addition to setting, boundaries. When we're, as we're having this discussion, just wrapping up, protecting your energy and building lasting success, regardless of our boundaries, learning, the power of saying no and setting boundaries is key to maintaining your health, mental health, energy, and long-term success, whether it's at work, in addition to, like I said, your personal life. These skills lead to greater respect, collaboration, and overall happiness. If you found that this video was beneficial, please give it a thumbs up so other people are able to, benefit and help themselves so they're not tore up from the flow up by setting their boundaries. However, thanks for thriving. Take it easy.